What is the best thing about attachment parenting to you?
The best thing about attachment parenting has definitely um, the relationships that I have with my kids. I think attachment parenting gets misunderstood a lot as the kids are in charge, listening to your baby, all those kinds of things. A lot of people misinterpret as you're letting the baby be the leader. And it's not about that. It's about communication. And it's about communication at a very early age. It's learning your baby's cues um, to learn what they need and to meet those needs so that they learn to trust you, and building that communication and that trust at such a very, very young age just continues. And I really feel like, all four of my kids, although they are very different and they communicate very differently with me, um, they definitely do let me know what their needs are, and they trust me and I trust them. It's attachment parenting is about building that bond, and it's been good.
Do you feel like there are any cons to attachment parenting? Any
I
negatives?
think there can be, but as with any parenting style, I mean, whether you choose to, attachment parenting or not, there can be cons to any kind of parenting style. I think that some people go too far, but again, it's what's right for you and your family may not be right for my family, and that's what attachment parenting is all about, and that's what La Leche League is all about. Is finding what works for you and your family. What works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. I think some of the cons that people, I think some of the cons that would turn people off from attachment parenting when their children are small is the fact that you give up a lot as a parent. I fed my babies when they were hungry. Which meant that they were with me all the time. I believed in baby wearing, and I carried my kids around with me all the time in snuggies and in backpacks and in slings. Um, and so I gave up a lot of freedom, which I think a lot of new moms probably would be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't ever even go out with my friends, or, have a night out on the town. And that's true. It's doable. Not that you never can go and do anything. I mean, there are ways to do things, but you do give up a lot of freedom. But in the whole scope of things, that's such a small sacrifice. I mean, yeah, I missed out on some things, but it paid off in ways that are huge that I don't have to worry about now. I don't. I can go now and do things, and I don't have to worry about what my kids are at home doing or not doing, because I built such great relationships with them at such a young age. So, yeah.
What are some pros and cons to attachment parenting that you feel? From your clinical.
You could go really. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's very late at night. I'm not gonna be able to coherently list every single one of them, but I think that with attachment parenting, I guess really the biggest one for me is how can you really go wrong with that approach? Because you're spending so much time and effort and commitment to your children. And and again, this going back to the spoiling idea, people think that all of this stuff is spoiling your kid. Mm-hmm. Spoiling your kid is giving them things to shut them up. Spoiling your kid is giving them things when they haven't earned it, or like the opposite of the discipline your mom was talking about. The responsibility and stuff, that people get things even if they have done nothing for them, or they don't get don't aren't made to be responsible for their actions. That's spoiling. Mm-hmm. And so it's actually the absolute opposite of what a true attachment parent would be doing. Mm-hmm. So I think another thing is there's some serious health benefits to attachment parenting. Most attachment parents are very big advocates for breastfeeding, and some people are still weirded out by that idea, which doesn't make sense to me because the primary purpose of breasts is to feed children. It's not a sexual thing, and people get skeeved out by it, and that's just ridiculous. And there are so many health benefits to the mother and the baby with breastfeeding, so many that I can't even list them all for you. And people don't know that. Nobody tells people that. And one of the biggest benefits is the bond between mom and child. And a lot of people give up on breastfeeding way before they need to, and there are ways to get that going that people don't think they can, and they give up. And there's so much about health and brain development and later connections and relationships and later risk for heart disease and obesity and stroke and all those things for babies that does. And so there's kind of this extra benefit health-wise to just even that part of attachment parenting. But I think being involved with your kids, knowing what's going on, talking to them, teaching them through connection. Again, neuroscience shows us that relationship-based interactions are the key to good development and are the key to good brain development. They're key to good moral development. They're key to good social development. And so in a roundabout way, I'm answering your question without specifics, but there's so many benefits to it. And again, that's why with the neuroscience that's coming out now that's showing that, there's such a movement now. You're hearing more about attachment parenting, whereas 10, 15 years ago, mainstream wise, I don't know if you would hear about it.
Mm-mm. Do you feel that there are any cons to attachment parenting?
Yes, I'm biased with that. I guess in a way, there could be people out there who get the wrong ideas about how to do it and might do it wrong, but that's the case with everything. The other thing is, there are other ways to parent well without being an attachment parent. And so that's not a con to attachment parenting. It's just, you don't have to be an attachment parent to be a good parent. You don't have to be an attachment parent to have good kids. But cons, I don't know. That's hard for me to think of because I spend most of my time advocating for infants and toddlers and early, preschoolers to have more of these attachment interactions with their parents and with people who care for them. So it's very hard for me to think of, oh, well, here's all the reasons why you shouldn't do that when I'm a big advocate for it.
What are some of your favorite things about our family that others might not have?
We're loopy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we act like we're just like all a part of a family and don't like separate each other from like what we do. Like if Silas gets in trouble, we don't like shun him. You got in trouble, I can talk to you. Or if like one person likes one thing, the rest of the family doesn't, we don't discriminate about that. We just
Open-minded.
Yes, we're open-minded and we don't really care.
We don't judge each other by what they like
or whatnot, yeah.
We're there for each other.
Yeah, we're there for each other.
United. The bonds of blood.
What are some of your favorite things about our family?
We're always having fun. No one's ever mean-ish. Sometimes, okay, well, no one's ever too mean. Like,
Outside of normal sibling rivalry.
yeah, but that just always happens. So, yeah, we're just always having fun, kitchen dance-offs and whatnot. Even if it means playing video games, we still get along.
We're all-
Occasionally.
We're all really close.
Yeah.